Hi, I'm Darlene Panzera from Aspiring Writer Academy, and today we're going to talk about how to defend the copyright of your fictional novel. Number 1, standing up for your rights as an author. A few weeks ago, I had a writer friend call me up and ask for advice. She has written and published several middle grade chapter books with a small press, and her book covers are wonderful, and all in all, it seems like this publisher is a good fit for her budget, her needs, and expectations. This small publisher sent my writer friend, let's call her Mary, an email asking if she would allow her story to be included in the production of a board game. It seemed like a fun idea and a great promotion opportunity. Mary assumed the company would use one of her stories from her published series. However, the head of this small publishing company has been good friends with a man for over 20 years, let's call him Bill, who also publishes stories with this small press. This man has read all of Mary's stories to his daughter at bedtime. To protect all those involved, let's just say, for example, that Mary's stories are about fairies in a uniquely developed fairy world called Flower Valley. Each book in the series focuses on a different fairy. Since Mary did not have another new book come out soon enough, this man decided to write his own Flower Valley fairy story using Mary's characters, her ideas, their names, and her story world to please his daughter. And here's where it gets even worse. And now the publisher wanted Mary's permission for this guy Bill to publish the fairy's adventure story that he wrote for his daughter using Mary's characters for the board game instead of one of her own stories. Of course, this distressed Mary, who didn't want to say no and disappoint her publisher. She was afraid they might drop her as an author. But she was upset at the thought of another writer using her characters and the story world that she had created. The publisher said her name would be included in a byline, but still it left her feeling unsettled, feeling hijacked, and she couldn't sleep at night. That's when she called me, her former writing coach, for advice. How should she respond to this situation? Well, I have to tell you that as soon as I heard this story, I was just livid. This is so wrong on so many levels. First, how dare this guy, Bill, think he could steal Mary's characters and publish his own story using her ideas and a story world that she created. He would be okay privately writing a story for his daughter, but to publish it, that's so illegal. The same would be true if he wanted to publish a Star Wars novel or a Harry Potter novel without consent from the creator of those story worlds. There would be lawsuits filed so fast. An author cannot steal another author's work. If this author wants to write about fairies, let him create his own fairy characters and his own unique story world, but he cannot use what another author has already created. Second, the publisher, the head of this small press, should know better. What kind of publisher is this that would even think to ask Mary such a thing and use his long-term friendship with Bill as potential leverage? After a lot of ranting and raving and foot stomping on Mary's behalf, I told her that she needed to stand up for herself as an author. Never let someone bully you for fear they might drop you as an author and no longer publish your books. The whole situation was making her sick, and she needed to listen to her gut instinct. So what happened? Mary emailed the publisher and said that she was not comfortable having another author write a story using her characters, ideas, and story world. She felt Bill had overstepped his authority as an author and explained why. She stood up for her rights regardless of the consequences, politely, professionally. Thankfully, the publisher respected Mary enough to allow her to write the story for the board game. Not only had Mary stood up for herself as an author, but she also avoided a court case over the issue. Know your rights as an author and protect your creative work. Number 2, plagiarism and unauthorized use. Plagiarism. When someone copies, literally steals, a body of work created by another author, this is called plagiarism. Under copyright law, this is an illegal practice. This includes full scenes that are copied word for word without the original author's permission. This can happen either intentionally or unintentionally when working closely together with others in a critique group. The content of a scene can seem so familiar that an author can believe that they were the ones who first created it, even using the same wording and place the same scene in their own novel. While this is something to look out for, I do think having a critique group with the right people is a wonderful thing. Piracy. Unfortunately, there are also those without morals who steal other authors' stories off the internet and put them up for sale on their own websites. Authors do not receive any royalties for these sales. The books are usually offered at a discount. Many buyers do not realize that these books are on a pirated site. Authors are usually furious to find their books on these pirated sites, but the sad truth is that it is usually too difficult to combat the situation. As soon as you contact the site and demand that they take down your book, the owners of those sites will just put your book up on another brand new pirated site the very next day. Like the game Whack-A-Mole, or trying to block those relentless phone solicitors that just keep calling back from a different number. The process to combat book piracy can become exhausting and not worth the effort. If you are traditionally published and discover your books on one of these sites, you can contact the publisher and let them know. Big publishers usually have someone to try to stop piracy on your behalf. But if you're self-published, you can try to contact these book pirates yourself to get them to take your book off of their lists. But many authors decide it is not worth the effort and comfort themselves by looking at it as free book promotion. Perhaps if the buyer reads your book and they like it, they'll give you a good review on other sites, or maybe they'll buy your next book or join your mailing list. Rather than fight piracy, which can become a full-time job, sometimes it is better to just write the next book. Unauthorized use. The opening example of my friend Mary and her publisher asking her to consent to allow another author to publish his book using her story characters and story world is an example of unauthorized use. If the publisher of the small press did not ask Mary permission or went against her wishes and published another book related to her story world anyway, this would give Mary grounds to file a lawsuit against them. Luckily for Mary, it all turned out well. Many seasoned authors are upset with AI companies right now for using their books to train AI programs. The Authors Guild is trying to bring attention to this practice and perhaps gain royalties for the authors whose books are involved. Another example of unauthorized use is when a company uses one of your books or fictional characters or story world to promote a product or a service without your consent. Number 3, how to copyright your novel. Copyright protection exists from the moment your work is created in a tangible, fixed format, such as handwritten pages or typed in a computer document. As soon as you write the first chapter of your novel, it is copyrighted. No one else should be able to steal it. However, if you live in the United States, you should also consider registering your fictional novel with the U.S. Copyright Office once it is completed. This allows you the ability to create a public record and access the federal courts and the Copyright Claims Board in case of infringement. If your novel is used unlawfully without your permission, you, the author, have the right to pursue legal action against the perpetrator. The 3-month rule for copyright. According to the U.S. Copyright Office, copies of all works under copyright protection that have been published or distributed in the United States must be deposited with the Copyright Office within 3 months of the date of first publication. What is the process? To register your fictional novel, you will need to fill out an application, the standard application for a single manuscript, or the group application if filing for an anthology with other authors. Pay a filing fee. As of May 2025, the standard application is $65, while a paper filing fee is $125. Then upload a copy of your book to the U.S. Copyright Office. You can go on the link www.copyright.gov/registration for more information. Now, these are things you cannot copyright. An author cannot copyright or lay claim to a book title. Just go on Amazon and you will see that there are many books with the same title. Nor can an author copyright an idea. Many books and movies have very similar plots. Sometimes 2 or more books will even have characters with the same name, which may be coincidental, although your character should be unique from another author's character. And you should never have an entire cast of characters from another author's book. You should also never use names that are franchised, such as Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter. Other considerations. Email yourself a copy of your finished manuscript and keep it in a file on your computer. The date stamp proves when the story was uploaded. As you write, you may want to save different versions of your original work or save it chapter by chapter. Always save and date your work. After finishing a fictional novel, keep your research, physical notes, idea maps, or sketched outlines in a manila folder even after the book is published, to prove the story is yours and was truly your own creation. You can also keep digital notes and files saved from the story on an external hard drive. Don't throw away your original notes just because the book is published. Add the copyrighted symbol to the front of your manuscript. If you write blogs or create worksheets for a class that you teach, include the copyright symbol, your name, and the date in the header of the document. Also, always save and date a copy of these documents on your computer or to keep in your files. Many beginning writers are obsessed about copyright and fear others will steal their work. While this can sometimes happen, the better option is to keep brainstorming, plotting, creating characters, writing, and improving your skills with each new book. Depending on the situation, you must decide whether it is worth your time and effort to stand up for your rights as an author, or if it is best to just let the infraction go. I hope that you have gained some valuable tips to copyright and protect your manuscript from plagiarism, piracy, and unauthorized use. If you have any questions or would like to leave a comment below, we would love to hear from you. And if you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. That way you don't miss out on any future videos.